everybody, Pastor Andy here. Welcome to Making It Simple. Always great to be with you. We're going to continue in this teaching, In the Storm. This has been a powerful lesson, I believe, in daily living because we find ourselves in the boat with Peter and the other guys. We find ourselves in the storm. The wind is crashing and the waves are coming over, and we're in a mess. We're in a dilemma. We left off yesterday with Jesus saying, "Have courage. It's me. Do not be afraid." Now that's key words because we have to understand what is he saying. Now, what we have to see, now they were not 100% sure that it was him. In fact, Scripture says they believed that it was a ghost, something that was unnatural, something that was maybe scary. They weren't sure. Jesus says to them, "It's me. It's okay. Do not be afraid." That message, as I said yesterday, is for everyone who is listening. That's what he is calling. Jesus is calling out to you in your storm right now. So we read that they're struggling. That's the human struggle. We all have that, right? And so we see that as Jesus has said these words, "It is I, do not be afraid." Immediately we see again humanity kick in. So Peter, in that moment, Peter says, "Lord." The voice of Jesus and the apparent image of Jesus is starting to match up. Wait a minute. That voice sounds familiar. I think. Maybe. We begin to start seeing a picture being painted here as we struggle. Everybody's looking for something. Everybody. But here's the question. Is the road we're traveling leading us to the answer? And so here we find Peter in particular. He's drawn out in this story. And he says, "Lord." This is a call that Jesus has given. Do not be afraid. So this is a call to have courage. And this call that Jesus has given out, do not be afraid, this calming sense that is there, well, it matched the comfort of the words that had come. It's me. But what we find is a slight hesitancy here, okay? So Peter is saying, "Lord, if it's you. If it's you." All right, so there's a, I want to believe. It's kind of like the father in another story in the Gospels. "I believe, but help my unbelief." We've all been there. And anybody that says they haven't is just being dishonest because we've all been in that place. So here Peter's saying, if it's you, I want to make sure, then command me to come to you on the water. Now that seems to be impossible, right? That's a Jesus, or this apparition, whatever they believed it to be at that time, is doing the supernatural, doing the unreal, walking on the water. Peter is saying, if that's real, if you are who you say you are, then I want to do the same thing. But what we find interesting here is Peter said, "Command me to come out onto the water." But Jesus replied, it tells us, with just one word. Just one word. He said, "Come." Now I want you to picture this in your mind. Jesus is standing on the water. Maybe you've seen this in illustrations. There's a powerful visual of this in The Chosen, in this particular scene, and as the two are meeting. It's just incredible. It's at the end, I believe, of season 3, and it's amazing this story being played out. But Jesus is on the water. Peter has asked, I want to be where you are. If it's you, come, call me out there. Jesus said, "Come." Now, Peter had said, command that I come. But Jesus did not do that. Jesus said, come. This was not a command. This was an invitation. Now, I want you to understand the difference. This was not a get out here. This was, if you trust me, I'm right here. Just come on. You see how that's different? That's not a, you get out here, or you do this. No. This is, the invitation is yours. See, that relates directly to salvation. Now, there are some within some realms that would argue with me on that and saying, that it's already been decided, and nonsense. This is exactly what Scripture is teaching, right? Jesus is saying, it's been taken care of. I'm right here. But you have to trust me enough to get out of the boat. You have to trust me enough to place your life in my hands. That requires faith. That requires doing something beyond ourselves. That is requiring us to place our faith and trust in something beside ourselves. And so here, Jesus is saying, come. If you truly want to be where I am, I'm right here. I'm not going anywhere. And I'm not going to. I'm right here with you. So if you trust me by faith in me, through that trust in that faith, you will move accordingly. You will either trust me or you don't. Does that still apply right now? Absolutely. Okay, I want us to see what this picture is trying to show us. What is this story trying to tell us? Peter is saying, I'm in a dilemma. I'm in a storm. I'm in a mess. What am I going to do? And Jesus said, trust me. I'm right here. Faith requires us to leave the security of the boat. That's the bottom line. Faith requires action, whether it's physical or whether it's truly believing. And if I truly believe, here's the addition to that, if you will. If I truly believe, it means I don't interfere. I don't think God needs my help. Because the bottom line, and I did not coin this phrase, but the bottom line is, if you're ever going to walk on water, you got to get out of the boat. But Jesus only invited. That is very important that we understand that. Jesus only invited. He never made Peter get up. That changes the entire dynamic of this story, friends, because if Peter, as he had said to the Lord, command that I come out there, it wouldn't have been the same as if he got up on his own. The same way with those who argue that salvation's already been predetermined, well, then it doesn't mean anything. If I'm going to do it anyhow, if I'm going to be made to do it, coerced to do it, forced to do it, I didn't mean it. You see how this is working? You see the beauty of this picture? It's on you. The invitation has been made. Jesus only invited. He never, ever made Peter get up. We face, every single one of us, we face trials all the time. In the midst of those trials, we oftentimes pray for answers. We might even think, Lord, where are you? Because we feel alone. We feel like the storm is taking over and the wind's about to turn the boat over and all the things. But the reality is, my friends, he's standing right there. He's standing right there. And he says, come. Come. We can do this. We can do this. But oftentimes what happens is we remain in the boat. And we begin to think and we convince ourselves, well, I'm just going to try a little bit more. I'm going to run just a little bit more. I'm going to row just a little bit more, and I'm going to see what happens. You see, friends, it's not that help is not offered. It's not that at all. It's not that help is not offered. It's rather that help is not forced. In other words, it requires that I accept the invitation and get moving, or I stay in the situation and only have me to blame. We must trust Him in the storm. We'll pick back up on this tomorrow, Lord willing, as we continue to look at this powerful lesson about life. God bless you. Have a great day.